Hello friends, once again you're with the Lonesome Gamer, and this is our next turn of Middle-earth the Wizards, the collectible card game. We have right now two parties, one Palando and Adrazar, and they are right now here in the Woodman's Town, and the other one is Train, and he is here in Bourvidou. Okay. So now it's again the organization phase. We're allowed to untap our characters, so that's what we do. And as you might remember, we lost Elrond during our last turn. He followed his desire to go to the sea, so it might be a good idea to bring a new character into the game, and this will be this guy, Bart the Bowman, because he's the only one that can be played in this area. All the others are have their home sites on different areas, Minas Tirith or Edoras or Galadriel in Lorien, and as I mentioned before, in my rules you can only bring the characters into play if the party is in the same region or in an adjacent region to the home site of the character. The home site of Bart is Lake Town, and that is here in the northern Rovanian. So that is adjacent to here, which is southern Rovanian, so we can bring him into play. And he joins Train now. Okay, he's not a very good character, but I think it's better than walking around alone. And then we can replenish these line of heroes, and we can draw another weak character. And that is Eowyn. Her hometown is Edoras, and well, she's also a pretty weak character, but she has some good professions, and in fighting nut schools she is really strong. And she's not too expensive. Okay, another thing that is special in my rules. You already know we have these lines of heroes, and here these lines of items and cards that give you points. And now, in the organization phase, you have the opportunity to exchange one of these cards in one of these lines. So you can decide in which line you want to do that, and then you have to roll a die, and then randomly one of these cards is going to be discarded, and you are allowed to draw a new one. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna try to get another card for my points. Basically there are these 5 cards. This treasure is one treasure, which is here. So there are 5 point cards, and well, I don't want to lose this one. I think I might go there now. But the rest is a little far away, so maybe it's a good idea to risk it, and maybe I can try to find another treasure. So I'm gonna roll now. Okay. So that's a 6 on a 20-sided die. So if you divide that through 5, you come to this. Of course, I have to put this away. No luck here. But I can draw another one now. Maybe I'm lucky. Let's see. Okay, well, that's not so good. This is Rogue, the Raven. But it's also not that bad. You can get this guy in the Northern Rovanian. And yeah, it's not... just brings you 1 point, but, well, I think I'm gonna try to get it in this turn. So what I'm gonna do in this turn, I'm gonna travel with these guys back to Lorien, and then I think I'm gonna make Galadriel join the party. So that would give us 3 more points. And if we're lucky, we don't have to fight too much with her. These guys are going to Lake Town, and they're gonna bring here Rogue the Raven into play. So actually they move first, and they're going to Lorien. If you're going back to a haven and you use the side path, then you use the side path of the location you're coming from. So now we have a traveling route of 2 wilderness and 1 borderland. We are allowed to draw 2 resource cards, and we have to draw 8 hazard cards. So let's start with the resource cards. That is Hobbit lore. I really love the artwork of this card, but the card itself is quite useless actually. It's just for Gandalf. And then we have another card, Memories Recalled. Okay, playable on a character with a sage in his company. All dark enchantments on target characters are discarded. Well, okay. I'm not sure that these cards are very useful, but we'll find out. So now let's travel here to Lorien, and then we draw 8 hazard cards. Okay, so I can tell you it's getting a little dangerous for the party. They travel through 2 wilderness and a borderland, and now this living tree here is played, and the old widow, and this is 2 wilderness necessary, so it can be played. It has an attack of 13, and it has 1 strike. So we're gonna try to... Yeah, we're fighting this, of course, and actually Palander is trying to do this, because Adratar just has a fighting value of 3, so he needs a 10, which is pretty heavy. So it's Palander, and as you've seen before, you can help another member of a party on a corruption check by tapping a character, and it's the same thing with fighting. Araza can tap, and then Palando gets an additional point on his combat value, so he now has a combat value of 7. That means that he needs a 6 to make it even, or a 7 to get the point. So now let's roll. And that is an 8. This is very good. So we're getting the point. But now actually things are getting more problematically, because now it's this ugly guy. And he can attack in a borderland. And that is 2 attacks. That's a little interesting. This is 2 attacks, not 2 strikes. 2 attacks with 1 strike against the same from attacker determined character. So now we try to kill the wizard, of course, and the game would be over. Well, I hope that isn't the case. But now Palando is attacked, and he needs, because he's tapped, it's a -1 penalty, so he only has a combat value of 5, and he needs a 6 to make it even. So he rolls, and that is just a 4. This is bad. That means now Palando is wounded. Okay, so we turn his card around, and he's got a, like this, he's got a body of 9. So if we roll now higher than 9, then he's killed, and the game is over. Okay. And this is not the case. This is a 5, but this is only a 1. So Palando is still alive, but he has to take the second attack of this guy. And now, because he's wounded, there is again a penalty. I have to check it. Yeah, it's a -2 penalty. So now he only has a combat value of 4. Meaning he needs a 7 to make it even. And yeah, that's no problem. This time we have an 11. So we were really lucky here that we survived this. But because we could just defeat 1 attack, this card is not defeated, and if there were points, we wouldn't get them. Anyway, card is discarded, and now we are going to Lorien. No more cards can be played on this party because there's a hazard limit of 2. And well, it's good that we are going to Lorien, because we might be able to heal there, but not right now, because the Balrog is in game, in the play. So it says here that it doesn't count it as a haven, but concerning healing and hazard card, it counts as a free hold. So we can't heal there right now. But on the other hand, this applies only as long as Galadriel is not in Lorien. So if we can bring her in the next turn into play, it's a regular haven once again. Okay, so now we're gonna discard down to 6 cards once again. So we're gonna discard these 2 cards. And then they are traveling to Lake Town from here to there. Okay. And this time it's no side path movement because there is no haven location involved. So they just move from one location to another location. Both are normal locations. One is a ruins and lair, this one is a border hold. So now you simply take a look at the map, and we have this region here, Southern Rovanian, and that region here, Northern Rovanian. Both are wilderness, so we simply travel through 2 wilderness. And now we are allowed to draw 2 cards, 2 resource cards, and we have to draw 8 hazard cards. So that is Thror's map. And that's actually a minor item. And that allows you to take 2 items in one turn from a dragon treasure site, from a dragon hoard. And the second card is, well, that means something like new power. So you can untap a character from the party of the wizard can be untapped. That's always a good thing. And now we draw 8 hazard cards. Okay, so here we have the Doors of Night. And this is a pretty important card because it's a card that generally affects a lot of other cards from the game. Many cards can only be played if there are Doors of Night in play. Other cards are much worse. The effects of the cards are worse if this card is in play, so it's always good to play that one. It's a permanent event, so it stays in the game until it is cancelled. And then we play a creature. That one, some kind of raiders. And you need a wilderness to play it. We travel through 2 wilderness, so no problem here. And that says it's humans, man, 2 strikes with a prowess of 9. But now, because we get this one here, rank upon rank, it's 1 additional prowess and 1 additional strike. So it's 3 strikes with 10. And this is not good at all, actually. If there are more strikes than defenders, then each defender has to face 1 strike, and the attacker can decide which of the 2 defenders has to take the strikes that are left. So in this case I have to decide which one must face 2 strikes. And I think Trine is gonna be the one who should face 2 strikes, because it's not so much our goal to kill one of these guys. The goal is more to tap them both so that they could do nothing in Lake Town and that they lose this turn. Okay, so Bard well, I guess he has to tap. There is, yeah. Well, on the other hand, I'm not sure. Just give me a minute here. Okay, so there are two ideas. On the one hand, I could try to get this ally here in Lake Town, and well, that would be 1 point. It's not bad. So I could risk everything and try to keep at least one of these guys untapped. So both could try to make it untapped. I mean, if he gets killed, it's not that bad because I won't use any victory points. If he does it untapped, it is quite a risk because he loses his 3 penalty for doing this untapped, which would be a 4 then, combat value of 4. And because he has to take 2 strikes, these guys get an additional combat value, so for each additional strike they gain a +1, so they had now a 10, and then there is this card in the game, so that would be an 11. So he needs to roll a 7. And, well, if we lose him, it would be pretty bad because he gives us 3 points. So that is quite a risk. On the other hand, I could try to take a complete other plan. I have this elven robe. So what I think I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to defeat these men and take them as prisoners to a haven. That would give me then 4 points because I could discard in the haven the elven robe in addition with this with these guys. So then I had 4 points, and this is really good. So I think I'm gonna try that. Everyone will tap. I won't try to get the raven. Everyone will tap here, and it shouldn't be too hard for trying. Now Bard is the person who might, who needs some luck, because, well, they have a value of 10 because of this special card up there, rank upon rank. So he needs a 7 for a tie, but this is not enough. If we want to kill these people, we need an 8. So we gotta be lucky here. Okay, this is not enough. This is bad. So altogether it's just a 9. And yeah, that's not enough. So he is wounded now. And then we roll against the body. He's got a body of 6. If we roll a 7, he's killed. And no, this is a 2, so he is still alive. And then it's Trine, and he has to roll a 4. And that's no problem for him. So he isn't wounded. But in the end, this turn was a waste. So these guys go away. Okay. Okay. So now at the end of this turn I can say it was a pretty bad one. We got 2 wounded guys and no points. Let's take the die. And now there are 4 turns left. We have to discard some cards. I think one will be this one, because that only works when the Gates of Morning are in play. And another one will be Thor's Map, I guess. So now it's gonna be the next turn. And in the organization phase, I have to check if I can choose if Galadriel comes into play first or if I have to heal first, because it's important if she's in Lorien or not. It depends on this fact if Palando can heal there or not. Okay, so the bad news is we can't heal, because we would have to heal first and then we can bring characters into play. So that means we can't heal in Lorien because Galadriel is not there, and because the Balrog is in play, Lorien does not count as a haven concerning healing. And these guys can't heal anyway because they are not at a haven. So I just can untap Train, and I can untap Adrazar, and well, then I will bring Galadriel in play, and I can replenish this line of heroes here. And this is Thorin. So this is definitely a good guy. And well, maybe it's still possible to bring him into play, but I'm not absolutely sure. I think it's not enough. I think I have not enough free influence, no. But okay, maybe later. And then I'm gonna try to roll here, and maybe I'm lucky and I can get a better item here. So, once again, it's this card. I'm really not lucky. So I can draw another one. No, wait a minute. It was a 4. And if you divide 4, yeah. So it's this card. It's the first card. Yeah. 1 to 4, 5 to 8, to 12, to 16, and this would be the last cards. So, now I draw another card, and this is Malorn. Okay, that is a pretty special card. I would need the Earth of Galadriel's Ore card to play that card. And because this is not in the game, it would be pretty hard to be successful here. So, after all, there are no good cards in play. I have a lot of trouble, and I'm really absolutely not sure what to do now. Okay, I decided not to move. With both parties I'm gonna stay here, because that gives Palando the possibility to heal in the next turn. And Thrain, he might try to get the Raven here, because he is in Lake Town, so maybe he can make a point here. In my rules, if you don't move, there are still hazard cards drawn, but it's not 4 times the number that is written here. It's just simply the number that is written here. So now, for this party, there are 2 hazard cards drawn. Oh, and this is one of my favorites. I think it's one of the most beautiful cards ever. It's called Itangast. This is the most powerful dragon of them all. He can't be played. Or can he? I'm not sure actually. No. But he looks awesome. Okay. So we have to discard him. And then we have this card. It's Cruel Winter. And yeah, we can play that. So it's a long event. And it gives additional attacks to border holds. And because Thrine is in a border hold here in Lake Town, wolves will attack. But first I forgot to do that. This card goes away because it's a long event, and this card turns around like that. Okay, so nothing more happens to these people. They're not directly affected by the cards that we've drawn. And now it's the other party here in Lake Town. And we will also draw 2 cards here. This is another dragon. But it's more, it's one of these dragons the Nazgul ride on. So it basically makes Nazgul attacks stronger. So now this card won't work. But this is a permanent event. Angmar rises. So basically it means that the area around Angmar, which is here in the very north of Middle-earth, and the adjacent regions are now much more dangerous. Okay, so we gotta play that card, permanent event. And now the travel phase is over. There was no traveling, but we had to go through the phase anyway. And now we come to the side phase. They are doing nothing here in Lorien. Normally in Havens you can't play any items or whatever. But here in Lake Town we now can play Rogue, the Raven. And normally there would be no attack, but because of this card here, because of the winter, it says every border hold, this symbol here, and as you can see it's this one here, now has an automatic attack. Wolves, 3 strikes with 7. Okay. So we try again the same as we did before. The additional strike goes to Thrine, and he also have to face a strike. So Bart has to go first, and he has a -2 penalty, so he only has a combat value of 1, and he needs a 6, and yeah, that's an 8, so he was successful. And then it's Trine, and because he has to face an additional strike, it's not a 1 strike with 7, but a strike with 8. And he has to do this untapped if he wants to take the ally here. So he's got a penalty of -3, so he's at 4, but it's not too bad. He has to roll a 4 to make it. Well, yeah, it's a 5. That's enough. So now Trine can tap, and he gets this bird here. Okay, and it has a special ability, you can use that bird if you want to influence a faction, and you simply discard that and the influence is automatically successful, so you don't have to roll for that influence. Okay, and then we draw another card for the victory points. Let's hope this time it's a better one. Okay, that's a panoply of wings. This is another faction. This is not really good. So it just gives us 1 point. The good thing is you can play this nearly everywhere. Playable at any tapped or untapped non-haven, non-shadowhold, non-darkhold site in a wilderness. So basically, we could play this also here in Lake Town, so we wouldn't have to move away to play this card, but it's just 1 point and this is going far too slow. Okay, so right now there are just 3 turns remaining. And we have 1 point, 4, 5, 8, 9, 10, 12. And to be honest, there are not many good cards lying here. So it might be, I think it looks pretty impossible that we can make it. We need some lucky draws here with the item cards. Anyway, we're gonna try it further on, and I'm gonna load this up now.